So, good afternoon everyone. My report is about armed sports. What is armed sports? It is any form of fighting and an art that has a set way of practice. They are practiced for many reasons: for fighting, self-defense, sport, self-expression, discipline, confidence, fitness, relaxing, and meditation. So these are examples of armed sports. Simulated bladed weapons, matrak in 16th century Ottoman Empire, fexkulen or fencing competitions in 16th to 17th century Germany, the traditional academic fencing mainly in Germany in the 16th century to present, the kendo or the Japanese fencing, modern fencing, Markland medieval mercenary militia, the SCA heavy combat, the Bellegarde medieval combat society, the Gorhir, historical European martial arts, historical medieval battles, sportive stick fighting, quarterstaff, the historical English 17th to 18th century, single stick, in the 1904 Summer Olympics, the baton francaise, the gatka or the Punjabi stick fighting, arnis or the Filipino stick fighting, the Hastilyud, and the modern competitive jousting. And this is the example of armed sports, the arnis or the Filipino stick fighting. And the next topic is about sports entertainment. So what is sports entertainment? Sports entertainment is a type of spectacle which presents an ostensibly competitive event using a high level of theatrical flourish and extravagant presentation with the purpose of entertaining an audience. The term sports entertainment was coined by World Wrestling Federation or the WWF, now the WWE, Chairman Vince McMahon during the 1980s as a marketing term to describe the industry of professional wrestling, primarily to potential advertisers. So an example of sports entertainment is the professional wrestling, the dramatized athletic spectacle. So this is an example of wrestling, the Greco-Roman wrestling.
Yeah, for those of you that want to know what we're all about, it's like this, y'all. This is 10% luck, 20% skill, 15% concentrated power of will, 5% pleasure, 50% pain, and 100% reason to remember the name. He doesn't need his name up in lights, he just wants to be heard, whether it's the beat of the mic. He feels so.
So next is techniques. The techniques used can be categorized into 3 domains: the striking, grappling, and weapon usage, with some hybrid rule sets combining striking and grappling. In combat sports, the use of these various techniques are highly regulated to minimize permanent or severe physical damage to each participant, though means of organized officiating by a single or multiple referees that can distribute penalties or interrupt the actions of the competitors during the competition. In weapon-based sports, the weapons used are made to be non-lethal, by means of modifying the striking portions of the weapon and requiring participants to wear protective clothing or armor. Next is the Olympic combat sports. First is the amateur boxing from 1904 to 2016. Boxing has been staged at every Summer Olympic Games since 1904 except Stockholm in 1912 due to Swedish law. Next is the judo in 1964, 1972 to 2016. Judo was not included in the 1968 Mexico City Summer Olympics. Women's judo was added to the Olympics in 1992 in Barcelona. So the left picture is the men's judo and the right is the women's judo. Next is the taekwondo. 1988 Seoul Games, the demonstration sport. From 2000 to 2016, it became an official medal sport at the 2000 Sydney Olympic Games. Next is the wrestling, the Greco-Roman, from 1908 to 2016. It is the first form of wrestling to be held at the Olympic Games. Next is the wrestling freestyle from 1920 to 2016. It was modified at the 2000 Sydney Games and reduced the amount of weight categories provided. Next is the pankration and single stick are two other forms of combat sports that have been included to the Olympic Games in the early 1990s. However, single stick was only represented at the 1904 Olympic Games and pankration, whilst lasting 4 centuries in ancient Greek Olympiads, was not included after 1900s. So the first picture is the pankration and the second picture is the single stick. Next is the fencing from 1896 to 2016. Competitive fencing is one of the 5 activities which have been featured in every modern Olympic Games, the other 4 being athletics, cycling, swimming, and gymnastics. So this is an example of Olympic combat sports, the taekwondo. So next is the protective gear or clothing. In combat sports, victory is obtained from blows, punches, or attacks to the head to a point of physical injury that the opponent is unable to continue. Different forms of combat sport have different rules and regulations into the equipment competitors have to wear. In amateur boxing seen at the Olympics, competitors are permitted to wear head guards and correctly weighted padded gloves. Mouth guard are optional, and the canvas floor protection from a hard fall. In sports such as taekwondo, competitors are permitted to wear a trunk protector, head guard, gloves, groin guard, and shin and forearm pads. Professional boxing and UFC are two of the most dangerous combat sports in the world due to the lack of protective gear worn. Competitors in these two sports have the option to wear a mouth guard and must wear suitable gloves. The lack of protective clothing makes competitors vulnerable to concussion and further traumatic head injuries. A scientific experiment conducted last year by Dr. Andrew McIntosh of ACRISP at the Federation University of Australia tested the impact of 7 different head guards in combat sports. The results of the experiment revealed the benefits of the combination of a glove and a head guard in maximizing the impact energy attenuation. A study conducted by Listad showed that combat sports with little to no protective gear, such as MMA or boxing, has an injury incidence rate range of 85.1 to 280.7 per 1,000 athletes in comparison to another striking combat sport like taekwondo, which has a large amount of protective gear such as pads, headgear, mouth guard, and gloves has an injury incidence range of 19.1 to 138.8 per 1,000 athletes. This means that injury rates are drastically lowered when protective gear is used. So, these are the list of protective gear or clothing. This is the gloves, headgear, mouth guard, shin guards, arm guards, groin guard, trunk protector, and wraps. Next is the fighting area. First is the mat or the circular rectangular layout. Next is the ring, which is the boxing ring, sumo ring, or doyo, and the sand ring. Fenced area, generically referred to as cage, can be round or have at least 6 sides. Cages vary. Some replace the metal fencing with a net. Others have a different shape, a hexagon and octagon depending on the shape. So this is the fenced area. Last is the no rope ring, sometimes referred by fans as the pit. A circle which is 27 feet in diameter, of which the inner 24 feet is colored blue. The next 3 feet is yellow, which is the caution area. When the fighter gets to the yellow area, he knows he's getting close to stepping out of the bounds. The last edge of the ring is the red zone, which features a 30-degree upward angle. When a fighter steps on the red area, he's stepping up slightly, letting him know he's out of bounds. So this is the no rope ring. So that is all. Thank you.